My grandmother had the same washing machine for 31 years. A 1978 Maytag. White, basic, loud. When she passed, the thing still ran. My mother inherited it, used it 4 more years, and only got rid of it because she moved. Not because it broke, because she moved. I thought about that machine in 2022 when I was standing in a Home Depot parking lot, watching 2 guys load my 3-year-old LG washer into a truck. I had paid $940 for it. The repair estimate was $680. The technician explained the outer tub bearing had failed, and that replacing it meant replacing the entire tub assembly. He said it almost apologetically, like he had delivered this exact news 100 times that month. I asked him if this was normal. He looked at me and said something I have not stopped thinking about since. This is the job now. I do not fix machines anymore. I just tell people when it is cheaper to buy a new one. That answer bothered me for weeks, so I started digging. I talked to technicians. I pulled FTC filings. I read product liability cases. Then I found a leaked internal document from a major manufacturer describing something called a service life target. Not a quality guarantee, not a durability promise, a ceiling. And what is behind that phrase is something that should make every American household genuinely angry. Go back to 1972. A Maytag washer built that year lasted somewhere between 15 and 25 years. Consumer Reports documented it. Repair technicians from that era confirm it. The motors were rated for hundreds of thousands of cycles. Transmission components were cast iron. The machines were overbuilt on purpose because durability was the only thing these companies were selling. Maytag built an entire advertising empire around the idea that their repairman had nothing to do. That world ended quietly, and here's where the story turns dark. Private equity started acquiring these brands through the 1990s and the early 2000s. Whirlpool absorbed Maytag in 2006. Electrolux absorbed Frigidaire. LG and Samsung entered the American market with aggressive pricing. And suddenly, companies that had been competing on how long their machines lasted started competing on something else entirely: margin per unit and replacement cycle. Velocity. That is a corporate phrase. What it means is how fast they can get you to buy another one. But here is what nobody tells you. The shift was not just about cutting costs on materials. Everyone suspects that part. What almost nobody talks about is how the failure points were not discovered. They were designed, engineered, tested, approved in product development meetings by people who knew exactly what they were approving. Modern front-load washing machines from virtually every major brand now use a bearing system that is press-fit into the outer tub. In older machines, the bearing was a separate, replaceable component. A technician could pull it, install a new one for about $30 in parts, and the machine would run another decade. In the current design, when that bearing fails, repair technicians say it typically fails between 3 and 7 years, depending on usage. You cannot replace just the bearing. You have to replace the entire outer tub assembly. That part alone runs between $250 and $400 before labor, on a machine that might have originally cost $550. That is not an engineering oversight. That is a decision made in a meeting. And the worst part, that decision was documented. Manufacturers modeled the failure point. They stress tested it, and they signed off on it. The machine that arrives at your door already has an expiration date stamped somewhere in an internal spreadsheet you will never see. But here is where it gets worse. Control boards. This is the conversation every appliance repair tech is having right now, that almost no consumer ever hears. Older appliances ran on mechanical timers and relay-based systems. They were simple, repairable, and boring. Modern appliances use proprietary microcontroller boards manufactured by third-party suppliers under exclusive contracts with the brand. When the board fails, and service data shows failure rates spiking sharply right after the manufacturer's warranty expires, you cannot source a replacement from any independent supplier. You have to go through the manufacturer, and the manufacturer prices that board at somewhere between $150 to $350. Some manufacturers have quietly discontinued board availability for models only 4 or 5 years old. That means a machine with a single failed component becomes effectively unrepairable, not because the technology cannot be fixed, but because access to the part was eliminated by design. One technician with over 20 years in the industry put it this way on an industry forum: "We are not fixing machines anymore. We are explaining to people why their 4-year-old appliance is now a very large piece of garbage." Now here is the connection the industry does not want you making. The same private equity groups that own the appliance brands also hold significant investment positions in the home warranty industry. The company that engineers the failure point also profits when you pay $60 a month to insure against it. According to consumer protection attorneys who have filed class action suits in multiple states, the warranty premiums are calculated using actuarial models built directly from manufacturer failure data. They know when the machine will break. They know which part will go first. They price the warranty around that knowledge. You are paying to be protected from a risk that was invented for you. And this is not fringe territory. The Federal Trade Commission opened an inquiry in 2022 around right to repair barriers in the appliance sector. Several states, including Colorado and New York, passed legislation in 2023 requiring manufacturers to make parts and diagnostic information available to independent shops for a minimum of 7 years after a product is sold. The appliance industry lobbied against every single one of those bills. But the trap goes even deeper than the parts. Let me tell you about the software layer, because this is what makes experienced technicians genuinely furious. Premium brands now ship machines with embedded diagnostic software accessible only through proprietary tools sold exclusively to authorized service centers. A Samsung refrigerator displaying an error code may have a failed component that costs $11 to replace. But without the diagnostic software, an independent technician cannot confirm where the fault originated. The consumer either pays an authorized service rate or buys a new machine. Those are the only two options the system offers. One repair shop owner in Florida documented 47 cases in a single year where the actual failed component cost under $25. Every single one of those customers ended up at an authorized appointment or bought new. The machine was not beyond repair. The system around the machine was designed to make repair the irrational financial choice. And then there is the premium price trap. The components inside a $1,200 washing machine and a $400 washing machine frequently come from the same 3 or 4 global suppliers. The motors often come from the same factories in China or South Korea. The pump assemblies are often identical. What you are paying extra for is the control board complexity, the exterior finish, and the marketing budget. Here is the irony. The premium control board is more fragile in real-world conditions because it does more. More sensors, more diagnostic loops, more software, more points of failure. Budget tier models from mid-tier brands regularly outlast their premium counterparts by 2 to 3 years in independent longevity studies, precisely because a simpler architecture has fewer ways to die. The machine that costs 3 times more breaks faster. So here is what changes once you understand the system. Before buying any appliance, stop reading the feature list and start reading the parts catalog. Go to any appliance parts aggregator site, search the model number you are considering, and look at what is available and at what price. If the control board shows limited stock and costs $280 on a machine that has only been on the market 2 years, that manufacturer has already told you everything you need to know. That search takes 4 minutes. Top load washers with a traditional agitator, not the newer impeller design, still use bearing architectures an independent technician can actually access. The agitator is older technology, less efficient on water, and boring to look at. But the bearing is reachable, replaceable, and inexpensive. That is the version they stopped promoting once the integrated tub design made repair economically impossible for most households. The brands that consistently appear in repair technician forums and parts supplier data as actually serviceable are Speed Queen for laundry, Miele for dishwashers when the budget allows, and Bosch for certain refrigeration lines. These are not endorsements, just observed patterns. Independent shops report being able to fix these machines, rather than only explaining why they cannot. Now the last trap, skip the extended warranty at the register. That product is priced using the same actuarial models built from manufacturer failure data. The store already knows when your machine will break. If you want real protection, use a credit card that includes purchase protection and extended warranty coverage as a standard cardholder benefit. Several major cards offer this automatically. Same coverage, without paying the manufacturer to protect you from the failure they already planned. If this is the kind of thing you want to know before it costs you money, subscribe. Every week I pull threads like this one, the places where the math works against you and nobody explains why. It is free. It is exactly the kind of information they would rather you never find. That quality engineer who wrote the Service Life Target memo was not a villain in the way people imagine. He was running a calculation he was asked to run. The calculation answered one question: how long does this need to last before the consumer moves on and buys the next one? And the answer that kept getting approved, meeting after meeting, was just long enough. Long enough that you do not sue, and not long enough that you never come back. 3 to 5 years. Every category, every brand, every price point. The same math. Your appliances are not failing you. They are succeeding at exactly what they were designed to do.